Hey, it's Cameron here. Welcome back to the Mixing in a Home Music Studio course. In this video, we're going to talk about trimming the files. So firstly, if you're new to my channel and new to my videos and you like what you see, click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos. So trimming the audio files. So this is again one of the early stages that I do before we get too far into our mix. Obviously we've set up the session, we've got our song or audio files imported, we've gained stage, we've done a rough mix now, or hopefully you have, I have obviously. And now what I like to do is just neat and tidy things up, trim them up, right? So I'm the sort of person that likes things clean and tidy, right? I'm not someone that works messy. I'm very, let's just say the word, very anal when it comes to this sort of stuff, even to the point of maybe even doing stuff that necessarily isn't useful and just time consuming, but that's just me. So obviously if you're a different sort of person, adapt it to your style, do what you feel comfortable with. Don't feel that what I show here has to be the way it's done, all right? These are ideas, this is the way I do things. You need to take this advice, take these concepts that I do and make it fit the way you like, okay? If you like to work messy, then work messy, whatever you like. But I like to work clean. I like to trim all the audio up, get rid of all of the silence, spaces, all that sort of stuff so I can see clearly when I look at my mix where a part is going to have audio playing, where it's not, and it visually gets me a feel of potentially what the song could sound like and where I need to look at things, so I can quickly, easily see I need to mix this section, I need to mix this section because this instrument only appears in this section and that sort of stuff. So it just makes it obvious to me, it keeps it nice and tidy, and it also allows our plugins and everything else and our system to perform more better, because it's not doing processing of audio that doesn't need to be there and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, let's just get into it and I'll show you what I do. All right, so at this stage in my mix, we've got a rough mix going, we've got things laid out. What I want to do now is just trim some stuff up, because at the moment we've got our audio laid out, just, all the silence in there, everything else. Now what this can do is, for me mentally, it creates a little bit of confusion because you just don't know when certain parts and what tracks are going to come in and out at certain things. Obviously I could see waveforms, so it's not totally unusable, but I prefer to have it nicely cleaned up and all the silence part removed. And it also allows your plugins to work more efficiently, because a lot of plugins will they will only do processing when there's audio files in parts of the song. Now, if you leave this silence part in here, the plugin has no real ability to know that that is silence. So it will continue to process through this entire bit on these tracks. Now, if I actually cut all of this silence out and delete it, then the plugin has the ability to know that there's no audio there, and it will stop processing. So it can make your projects work more efficiently. Now this all depends on the software, the plugins, things like that. Not all of them do this. It would be nice if they all did, but it's sort of like a best effort there. So I like to do it anyway, because it also keeps the project nice and neat. So what I like to do is, for obvious reasons here, is that we'll start by sort of zooming in a bit. And what we can do in Cubase is that I can trim from various sections. I can do each track individually, or I can even do it at a folder level. So in this case here with the drums, we can see instantly that all of this is straight away has nothing there. So I can drag this top folder part across and do that, and it trims every track under that folder. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit more. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to come along and I'll go in a bit closer. And then I'll start to do each one. Now at the moment I've got it like snapped to grid. Okay, we could, what is that? That's a bar. You know, we can zoom in even more. We can change our snap size. So at the moment it's set to quarters. You know, you could go to 16ths. Okay, so if we want to get it in a bit tighter, because we've got the snap on here, we can override that with the control key. If I hold control down, we can zoom in a bit closer here. And then what I like to do is, like, I'll start on the very start and I'll do a fade on each track. So what we can do is just adjust all of these to wherever we want. Just do a little fade. Take it up to the audio, or close enough to it. And then do a fade. Now I'm going to repeat that for every track in the entire song. So that one there, I may just zoom in a bit closer. And I'll just keep going on the first snare hit. So this is just sort of getting the start going. Now we can select multiples if you want to do that. So if you know you've got a group here, but you can also do, you say for something like this where there's a huge gap and a lot of silence. Okay, that's going to take a long time to find it. Okay, so what I would generally do in this case here, I would find it and I would change to my scissor key, or you can press Alt, and then I'll just trim, and then you can actually just delete these sections. And then what I'll do is I'll come in and, you know, do the fade and shorten that there even more. So we can do that through all of the tracks here. So let me just, I'm going to blow these up a bit so I can see a bit better. Now we can do that also for our tom. So what I would do, for me anyway, which is what I'll do, is I'll just run through and just sort of chop. And then I'll actually zoom in later and clean them up. But I'll just chop out all these big sections that have silence in them. So it can be a bit of a process, but for me it's worth it. I prefer it. As I said, it looks a lot neater, and I believe the project works a lot better because of it. So I'll just run through this now. We'll start with the drums and then we'll come back with the next section in a minute. So I'll just keep chopping these out. And then even the ends. And I will just delete the silent parts. Okay, so we've got it trimmed, and now I'm going to zoom in, and we'll do our trims on the start, get our fades in there. Okay, and we can obviously continue with the back as well, so we can trim that up. And again, I put a fade on the back of the file. Alright, so we've got the drums all trimmed up there. You could go an extra step here and you could actually trim up these toms individually. I have done that in the past since they're not hit that often. It wouldn't be a big deal to actually trim them up. The claps are probably a bit closer, so I may actually do that just for the sake of it. Just depends how particular you want to be about it? Alright, so let's say the drums are done. We're going to repeat this process, as I said, for all the other tracks. So the good thing is now we can see when things sort of hit. We can see visually when things are playing and when they're not playing. More than we can just by looking at the waveforms. So let's run through and do the same again here. All right, so there we go. I've trimmed it all up. We've got all our fades in. It's looking good. As I said, we may adjust these as we get through the mix. We'll play bits, especially the end fades and some of these breaks. We may adjust the fades there. It's a good idea, especially like with guitars here where you've got, say, all this group of acoustics. It's a good idea to sort of, you know, grab them together and adjust together, because what we want to do is a lot of the time it's going to sound better if they sort of fade out at the same sort of time and that sort of stuff. So we'll tweak that if need be, if one doesn't fade out enough compared to the other and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, that'll get adjusted as we go. But that's what we do there. So that's how I like to set my project up, and then we're ready to go with our next step. So there you go, that is how I trim my audio files and get my project nice and neat before we get started. So, you know, let me know what you think of that in the comments. If you have any questions about the process or anything else in this course, please do put it in the comments. I do read them all and I will answer all of them that I can possibly answer as quick as I possibly can. As I said constantly here, I want to help as much as I can. I want you to get the most out of this course as possible. There's always going to be times that maybe I don't accurately cover something in enough detail, or maybe it doesn't come across, you know, easy enough to you to understand or something like that. So, you know, don't be shy about asking a question or a follow-up question, or even providing some feedback, whether that's criticism or, you know, positive comments. Put them all in the comments. You know, I read them all, as I said, and I will answer and acknowledge them all as quickly as I possibly can. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, as that helps the channel grow and keep making content like this. And if you want to be notified when every new video comes out, click the notification bell. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.